Hey everybody, welcome to Free Range Art Farm. So today we're out in my little wood shed and I'm trying my hand at making swarm traps. So I'll take you through a little bit of the process I went through to make this. Is kind of my prototype, and I didn't like everything that I did, so I changed just a few things. So I'll talk about that. I'm going to get you guys set up on the tripod and we'll go from there. So stand by. We'll see if I'm going to cut my head off here on the video. So this is my first try at a swarm trap. I have searched all over YouTube and internet, maybe not the entire YouTube and internet, but looking for people who make swarm traps and getting some ideas. I've kind of taken a few from a few different people. So this was my prototype, and what I did for measurements, since everybody they give external dimensions, that doesn't do you much good if you're not using the same dimensional lumber. Like I used 1/2 inch plywood for the front and back walls, and then 3/4 inch 1x8 for, okay, it's 1x8, but it's really 3/4 inch wide, for the walls and the base. So what I did is I measured from the frame that I'm going to use. And so what I decided to do is I'm going to make the length the inside dimensions of this. So this frame is 17 3/4 inches long. So I made the inside about 18 inches. So that gives a little bit of a play on either side of the frame. And then I wanted it to be 5 frames wide, and this 1x8 is perfect for that because it's 7 and, it's never the exact dimensions, 7.5 inches long, and that fits 5 frames pretty well. So let's see. I've got my 5 empty frames. Alright, so it fits the frames width-wise pretty well. So that's why I chose to use this 1x8. And I think I got 3 6-foot lengths for, I'm planning on making three swarm traps. So it seemed to work out okay. I made some terrible cuts and wasted some wood, but that's fine. So the width is great using the 1x8s. But I didn't like this one because I had a little bit too much play on the inside. I think I made this 18.5 inches inside. So I changed that on the next one. But you can see I used just 1/2 inch sanded pine plywood for the front and back, and then a little bit just for this little lip here so that I have kind of a rest for the frames. And then I used some of the 1x8 that I just ripped down for this support thing, and this is going to hang on the tree, and then this little gap here I'll run like a ratchet strap around and hold this up against the tree, so it'll hang on like a big nail or something, and then the ratchet strap. And then I've got an entrance here. I've seen a handful of different opinions on where this should be. Everybody pretty much agrees that it should be 2 inches up, but I didn't know if it meant 2 inches up from the bottom of this or 2 inches up from the inside. So I went 2 inches up from the inside and drilled this on an angle, about a 30-degree angle, so that if it rains, the water will go out instead of into the hive. And I just made 1 hole. Some people make 2. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. So this was the prototype. Oh, and also a lid. The lid is just a simple box. I used the 1/2 inch plywood for the simple box, and the lid for the top. It's all out of the 1/2 inch plywood, and that fits on there with just a little bit of play. So that should be good. And that's the completed prototype. So I've gone ahead and kind of made a cutaway. This is actually one box that I'm in the process of building, but I kind of did things about halfway so I can show you what I have going on. So This is 18 inches inside width, or length rather. And this is the full width of the 1x8, so 7.5 inches or whatever that is. So you can see I made that the inside. Then this outside I think I believe it was 16 inches tall. But what I did is I measured from here, this rest, down to the bottom of this, and I added about 6 inches. Because that's what a lot of other people on the internet are saying. Around 6-inch cavity at the bottom. Bees will all come into the entrance, they have all this room, and then they'll come up into the frames. So that was how I determined the length of this board was the measurement from here to here, plus 6 inches, plus the thickness of this bottom board. So I think that ended up being a total of 16 inches for this piece. Your measurements will vary. So you can see the clearance that I have for the frame with 18 inches internal length. So there's not a lot of room, and I think that'll be perfect. And then what I did for these back walls here is it's going to go on the face of this, and I'll show you that. So it just goes on the face of it, covers the whole thing. And for that, of course, measured this distance to here, plus the thickness of my frame, plus 1/4 inch. So whatever that measurement ended up being, which I think was probably 16.5 inches. But again, I measured it all off of the deep frame that I'm using and everything relative to that. So 6 inches down, 1/4 inch wider than this span, and then the height of this front and back piece was the full length of this, plus this, and about 1/4 inch. And then these are just more of the plywood ripped down about 2 inches. Stand by. Okay, air compressor is done yelling. Not exactly sure where I was. I think I was mentioning that this is just a 2-inch long piece of plywood that I'm attaching to the outside at the same height as the front and back, and that'll just close up this and make this the frame rest instead of having to like channel out a little L in this piece of wood. So just a little external piece that I slap on there. And this is a cutaway of the lid, so you can see that if I push this all the way up against that, it has maybe 1/8 inch of clearance, maybe 1/4 inch, side to side, and then front to back will be the same. There will be a piece of the plywood here, and then just this little bit is the clearance. So about 1/4 inch, maybe 1/8 inch, front and back. So the lid will fit on fairly tight. And that's it. That's kind of the basics of that. Let me show you what I did for the support. Stand by. One other thing, I think you can see, I glued all the attachments, and then I nailed in this one, but I changed that and started using staples. You can see I use staples here. So I'm using 1-inch long galvanized staples to secure the front and sides and everything, and these sides. So that's all glued and stapled. This is just a piece of the 1x that I ripped down, and that's glued and stapled. And since this is 3/4 inch and this is a 1/2 inch, the 1-inch staple works to go into this just a little ways without going onto the inside of the swarm trap. And the staples are really just there until the glue dries, because the glue is the real strength. So I glued this and stapled, then I glued this and stapled to this. And then this just goes up some arbitrary height above the swarm trap, and then a hole just to suspend it. And that is that. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get the camera on the tripod and start assembling one of these, I'll probably do a fast speed thing, or maybe I'll make you sit there and watch it in real time. I haven't decided yet. Stand by. Okay, it's probably smarter to... Are you even in frame here? Close enough. Let me zoom or angle down just a little bit. Probably smarter to make the lids last, just to make sure it'll fit, but I never do things smart. Also, if you notice, this is a little thinner, not quite as long as these ends, because I got a little overzealous. Cut all my side pieces about 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 inch too short. So I had to use whatever lumber plywood I had left. So these are a little shorter, but that's okay. It's just the lid. It'll be fine. That's a nice tight fit. There. Get my gloves on, got safety goggles on, and we're gonna make a little bit of noise. Now I'm not gonna actually glue these joints because this just rests on top, so I don't have to worry too much about structural integrity. So, also, I'm gonna wash my fingers. Make sure I didn't go through on any of them. It's all clean. That's nice. That's another important thing, is the inside of the swarm trap should be free of anything sharp, pointy, pokey, whatever, because if the scout bees see anything that could possibly kill their queen in there, they may not occupy your swarm trap. So be mindful. Alright. So this guy, let's take the frame out. If I have enough glue left. I'm running low on glue. So, let's see, we'll glue this guy. Now, I'm no woodworker, but every time I've seen actual woodworkers glue anything, they smear the glue around. And I guess that makes a much stronger, better contact. So, I don't know why, but I'm gonna do it. Because that's what they do. And I'd like to think maybe they know a bit more than I do, which I assume is the case. So there's glue all over the place. There's that. Now once I got the measurements from my prototype, I went ahead and pre-cut everything. What I'm going to do is look and see if there's anything that I don't like on one side or the other of this. One of them had a knot, so I made sure the knot was on the outside instead of on the inside. But this looks pretty good on both sides. So yeah, we'll do it this way. So get that lined up here. And get the old staples out. I'll hit this corner there, corner there. Make sure that's lined up nice there. See how this is just a little bit out? I want to make sure that's flush. Just like that. There we go. Now these, I just staple there. Then we'll run staples all the way around. This I want to make sure is flush up here, so I'm trying to do that so I don't. Okay. Make sure I didn't get any staples on the inside. So there is the basic box, and again, frames set in just nice like that. It's a little bit wide up here, but that's fine. I'm happy with that. Let's test my lid real quick. Just a little bit of play on that. So that makes me happy. So there's that part. And then I've got these guys. Now what I want to make sure I do, I'm trying to make these consistent. So the hole is on this side, obviously, and I want to have this back this way. So this is the front, this is the back. I don't think it really matters as long as, like, the opening has to be south, I think. So you just have to make sure you put it on the correct side of a tree, but I'm going to put them on my back. Stand by! Okay, we're back. So when you're putting, these blocks are just, so this piece here can stand off a little bit so the lid can telescope down. So put the lid on, right? I just want to make sure this block is low enough where it won't obstruct the lid. That's all. If I put it way up here, then the lid won't sit down. So we'll put it down here, roughly, and the other one can just go somewhere near the bottom. So I've gone ahead, and this happens to be 19.5 inches outer diameter, outer length. So 9 3/4 should be halfway. So I put a little mark here and a little mark there, and then I put a little center mark on these guys, and then I'm going to glue these and get these attached if I have enough glue left. Again, we're going to spread the glue out so it gets a stronger bond. That's my theory. No idea. Could be one of those things, there's no real reason to do it, it's just what everybody does. But I'm not going to take that risk, because I don't know. So there's that. We'll set this down kind of in the middle. I'm trying to get it in the middle so it sort of balances. But I'm also going to ratchet strap it down so it should stay. Alright, now I'm going to put in just a couple of these guys. We are not out of... Oh, haha. More staples needed. Technical difficulties. Okay. And again, the staples are really just to hold these on while the glue dries. And you can see the staples are a good length where they're not going all the way through to the inside. Now, this one's going to go on. like that as well. Something like that. So a little more glue. Spread it around. That on there. Done. Let's try that out. 1, 2. Now these aren't the frames I'm going to use. I've got a drawn out comb to actually use in the storm trap itself. Now a lot of the traps I've seen they put in like a vent hole at the top or whatever. I don't know if I'm going to do that. I might drill a couple of holes, smaller holes, and just, you know, like 1/8 inch holes or something, like right up under here. And then if the bees want the ventilation, they can keep it, and if they don't, they can propylize it. Although, I mean, I'm not sure how long I'm going to keep them in the swarm traps, if I even catch any. But I want to give them something that they can seal up if they so desire. So I'll probably couple of 1/8 inch holes just underneath this, so any rain will come down and fall beyond the holes. And I'm putting them on the opposite side. The entrance is here, so the vents will be up here at the top in the back. But that's it, basic box. Again, a bit of a recap. I sized everything off of the frame and did internal dimensions. So I think I've got this one here, 15.5 inches. So there you go, that's 15.5 inches tall. I said 16 earlier, that was a lie. I think the actual front and back boards are 16 inches. And this is 3.5 inches up for the center of that hole, which on the inside, wow, it's roughly 2 inches up from the base. We'll see. Hopefully that'll work. I don't know how picky these little girls are going to be. And then this again is 18 inches. And you can see if I laid this kind of flush with that. Turn around this way so you can actually see. It's just a hair longer than the frame. And that, I think, works pretty well. So it doesn't leave too much room. So I'll go ahead and assemble this one. And make you guys watch me do that as well. So, gotta be mindful. Again, I think I angled this at about 30 degrees. Make sure you have it the right way. This is on the inside because it goes downward. So you want this on the outside of the swarm trap. So if it rains, the rain will go out. So we've got that. Swarm trap, start to finish. If you guys have any thoughts, comments, questions, there we go. Let me do this. There we go. If you guys have any comments, thoughts, ideas, suggestions, whatever, I'm always open to hear what you've got to say. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time. Oh wait, be good, be happy, be wise. I don't know, catch some bees, see what we can do. Have a good one, guys. Thanks for tuning in.